Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwaraha Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalne Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharane Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Vame yasya sthita radha shrisha yasya asti vakshasi vrindavana viharam tam Sri Krishna mrudi chintaye. Om namo Narayanaya. Om namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om namah Shivaya. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namah. Shri Hanumanji Maharaj ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 9th of July 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Paramatma residing in the heart of every single being. We are going to continue further in the better understanding of this beautiful Prem-Lakshana Bhakti, the highest form of rasa. And to continue on this, please keep in mind, is a quick review from the last several days, that rasa is not merely an emotional response. Rather, it is the essence of spiritual anubhav, adhyatmik anubhav, spiritual experience itself, marking a dynamic communion with God, with the supreme reality. It is a dynamic communion. Let's look at some examples of what that is. Very simple examples. Let's say you take an apple. Go to the store, get a bag of apples. And you have a murti at home of Bhagavan Krishna and Shri Radhika ji, as an example. Any Ishta Devata, it's fine. Bhagavan or Radhika ji ki murti hai. Alright, beautiful, very beautiful. The first point, the first rasa, or the first truth that needs to be in the mind, needs to be in the heart, is that this is Bhagavan right in front of me. This is called astik bhav. Isko kehte hai astik mati or astik bhav. This is the foundation. It's a foundation. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 8 types of murtis that are described. Murti meaning these, forms that are created. Some are made out of the 5 metals, panchadhatu. Then there's stone, painting, right? Spatik. There's different types. There's 8 of them. There's a whole list we actually have. It's in the Bhagavatam. This is called 8 forms of murti. Now somebody will ask this very simple question. Isn't it just some imagination? If you take a stone, 2 stones, and make one murti of Krishna, make one murti of Radha, and then put inside a temple or make a temple out of it, and then do some pratishta vidhi. Isn't that just some kind of imagination, something fabricated, something fake? So this is what the Nastik bhav, Nastik meaning atheistic bhav, that's what they would say. So again, Sachin's humble commentary on this one is that no, it is not like that at all. There are several factors to keep in mind. When the stone has been fashioned into a carved image, and the pratishta is done using Veda mantras, there's many ways to do the pratishta. You can use a Krishna mantra like Om Klim Govindaya Gopichanna Vallabhaya Swaha. There's different mantras that are used. There's certain bij mantras that are used. Kam cham tam tam pam yam sham vim dum maim vim ham ksham dijagram trote diptam guru guru swaha. So that's possible to use. There's many mantras. So the mantra has to be a siddha mantra. It has to be an original revelation with which the pratishta is done. So for example, if you have Ganesh ji ki murti hai, and you want to do a pran pratishta, and you don't have time to call big pandits and all that, you can do it yourself also. Make sure the murti is placed properly, and then you can take a small wooden stick and then, or a flower also, and just Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You can do 108 times, 360 times. And the most important part, in addition to the mantras, is the Shraddha. That Shraddha is the intense faith that Supreme Paramatma, who is present everywhere, in everything, and Vitirek and Anvay, and present beyond, and in everything, which we cannot perceive because of our agnan, because of our limitations. That Paramatma is now in this form in front of me without any doubt at all. This is called Shraddha. With this Shraddha in the form, in the image, it is not that we're worshipping the image. It's not a worship of the image. It is not idol worship, as many people think it is. No. It is upasana of Bhagavan. It is upasana of Bhagavan with the Shraddha that we are seeing Paramatma in this particular form. You're no longer seeing the stone, the painting, the paint, or however the murti was made. In Gujarati we say Pashan Chitramanno Bhav. If you have that feeling this is just a stone, then that is not going to work. That's of no use to you. Some other path may be there. But Bhagavan ki jo upasana hai, if you want to worship Paramatma, then Shraddha is developed this way, that Bhagavan is present in front of me. That is a matter of Shraddha. Now, how does that Shraddha develop? I have talked about this before, maybe last year sometime. I don't remember now. That Shraddha develops through Stotra, Shastra, Guru Vakyam. It develops three ways. It develops by the scriptures. So if you have Murti of Sri Krishna and Radhika ji, which is the main scripture? Which are the main scriptures that we have to study? So that the Shraddha develops that this is Bhagavan in front of me. It is called Archa Avatar. Archa meaning it taken a form, and now that is also an incarnation of God. It is called Archa Avatar. But to have the conviction that this is Paramatma, to feel that, to believe that, very easy to understand how to do that. Take Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is how many verses? 700 verses. And Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Dono Shastra rakhna. This is just again Sachin's humble request. Every person who follows Sanatan Dharma must have Bhagavad Gita at home. Absolutely. Must have Srimad Bhagavatam at home. Absolutely. Ramayana bhi hona chahiye, if possible. Tulsi Ramayana. ये घर में and Bhagavatam का जो set मिलता है, you can get it from the ISKCON temples. I think they ask for donation like $200 or $250. It's a fantastic, multi-volume, huge set, Srimad Bhagavatam. The physical books, the book is available, online for free. That's also okay. But to have the physical books at home, wo kya hai? That is also a form of Sri Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita as a scripture, and again, if you're placing the Bhagavad Gita by Sri Krishna, by the Murti, place it on a asan, place it on a red cloth, put some flowers on there, that Pujya Bhav. If the Bhavna is not Pujaniya Bhav, Pujya Bhav, meaning worshipful Bhav, it is just a book which the scholars can read and understand, things like that. Wo ek alag baat hai. You can be a scholar of the Gita and not have any Pujya Bhav, Pujaniya Bhav. Or Bhagwan Krishna ki jo Vani hai, that faith develops that yes, Param Satya hai. That when we start developing the Shraddha that the language of the Gita, the words spoken by Sri Krishna Bhagwan, are absolutely unequivocally correct. इसमें कोई संशय नहीं है. और ये भी कब होता है? When does that happen? when we begin to experience the truth behind the word Satyam Param Dhimai. The Anubhav, the experience, again the word experience I'm putting in quote, it's not the best translation. It's a personal real Anubhav. कि ये सत्य है, that this is correct, not just because it is coming in tradition, not because somebody is saying you believe this, not like, I mean that's maybe, but that's not the main reason. It is coming from your own first person Anubhav. It is called aparoksha anubhuti, as Shankaracharya ji has mentioned. This is how Shraddha in every single word spoken by Bhagavan Krishna in the Gita develops in the heart. And from that Shraddha, the conviction develops. The Nishtha develops. कि Bhagavan ki Bani hai. These are the words of Paramatma. They are not some mythology or somebody wrote some fantastic idea to control people's minds and crazy theories are there. Get rid of all that stuff. Otherwise you cannot do bhakti. It's not just mythology or just some allegorical symbolism. ऐसा नहीं है. ये भगवान का स्वरूप है. भगवान स्वयं बोलते हैं. ऐसी श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए. Then you can do bhakti. And if you cannot develop that, there's lots of problems in doing so. There's other paths to take. I won't go into that right now. But for bhakti, since our subject is bhakti, we cannot develop bhakti without shraddha. Shraddha in the Bhagavad Gita. It has to be there. Otherwise there cannot be devotion to Sri Krishna. How that is possible? That shraddha also takes time to develop, if it develops at all. It's not just going to develop like that. There are all kinds of doubts. There's all kinds of questions. And one of the biggest questions that comes about is how can 700 verses be spoken in the middle of a battlefield? Did that really happen that way? Or maybe it was a brief conversation, but Vedvyasji expanded it. Did he put it in there? So there's thousands of questions like that. I'm not going to go into that right now because we don't have time to do that kind of analysis. That's a whole scholarly analysis. Fine, you can do it. But it doesn't matter. What is the internal anubhav that we are having from the teachings of the Gita? That is important. It's not so important if actually it was spoken on the battlefield or Vedvyasji's, how he wrote it. That may be important. I'm not saying it's not. But what is of paramount importance is the message resonating inside our hearts. And then something extraordinary happens, that the words begin to become alive inside. So now the words that are beginning to become alive in the heart of the bhakta, that same swarupa, that language swarupa, is called Madhavani, Madhurupam, is now in the form of the murti. So the same Bhagavad Gita has taken another form, because Bhagavad Gita is Sri Krishna, is in the form of the murti. Now you see the oneness between the two. So the murti of Sri Krishna, murti of Radhika ji, and the Bhagavad Gita, and then the Bhagavatam, they all connect together. They are one. And they connect inside our heart. That interconnection inside is enhanced further by the names, the holy names of Radha and Krishna. So one of the mantras is Radhe, 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 Radhe. This is a mantra. Again, to speak the mantra with understanding what it means. It means love. It means prema. Prema for Paramatma. See, it's possible for Sachin to enjoy studying the Gita. I can enjoy it, fine. But that doesn't mean that I am loving Paramatma. That's a big different level completely. the development of prema is a totally different level than simply enjoying study or enjoying some bhajans and all that. It's okay. वो अलग स्थिति है. And that is what we have been talking about this month. This Prem-Lakshana Bhakti. Bhakti is intense love with mahima, with mahatmya, with glory. Who is in front of me? That bhavana opens so intensely that our connection becomes communion. And this is the whole point of this line that we were just looking at. Let me show it to you again. Well, if I can find that now, where did it go? All right, hold on a second here. Yeah, I think it's right here. Okay, let's see. Well, I don't know what happened here. Okay, there it is, yes. See, this is where rasa comes into the picture. Rasa is so amazing in life. If we can get this, when this opens up after Shraddha, contemplation, everything is solidly fixed. Purna Nishta, Purna Shraddha, हमारे जीवन में जो आ जाती है, भगवान कृष्ण के लिए, राधिका जी, and you can have any incarnation, I'm just going to stay with Radha Krishna. Then it is dynamic communion. Dynamic communion is where we are able to commune with Bhagwan through the scriptures, through the mantra, as the scripture, as the mantra, and Guru Parampara. ये तीन बात है. Shastra, this is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And those who are following, let's say, ISKCON or more Vaishnava Parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji ka bhi, Chaitanya Charitamrita, other scripts, so many scriptures. Vallabhacharya ki jo sampradaya is, usme bahut shastra hai. There are many acharyas that have the scriptures. But it has to do with the scriptures that connect with the Ishta Devata. Now, obviously, you can use Bhagavad Gita to connect with Bhagwan Ram. That's not an issue, but there is a Ram Gita also. Don't forget that. There are multiple Gitas. So, the main Leela Charitra scripture of the Ishtadev is your main Leela Charitra scripture. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the main Charitra Shastra. It has all kinds of Gnan in there also. For those who are worshipping Sri Krishna Bhagwan. But if you are a devotee of Ramchandra ji, then Tulsi Ramayana or Ramcharitmanas or Valmiki Ramayana, that is going to be your central focus. You can have study of the Bhagavatam, yes. You will notice in the Sanatan Dharma in Gujarat, for example, there was a Dongreji Maharaj. You may be familiar. He was a great Krishna Bhakta, very pure saint. So his focus was on what? On Bhagavatam, Shrimat Bhagavatam. Does that mean he considers Ram as less or anything? No. It's not like that. But one Ishta Devata, one main Leela Charitra scripture, and one Tattva Gnan Shastra. So Tattva Gnan Shastra for everybody is Bhagavad Gita. Doesn't matter which the Upasana. That is common. Leela Charitra scriptures differ. They differ significantly. If you are worshipping Shankar Bhagwan, the Shiv Puran has to be your main Puran. Other Purans are there, study them, love them, but main Puran, main deity in the mandir would be Bhagwan Shankar. Shivling, Shiv Parivar, Namah Shivaya Mantra, Shiv Stotra, Rudram, Chamakam, etc. All those things would be done. That is your focus. This is called Upasya Murti. See, this should be very clear. If we are trying to progress towards Paramatma, Upasna Shuddha honi chahiye. So, एक स्वरूप उपास्य है और भगवान के जो अलग अलग स्वरूप है वो सब पूज्य है. This should be very clear. If you are worshipping Sri Krishna as Ishta Devata, तो भगवान राम, भगवान शंकर, all the forms of Devi, Ganesh ji, Hanuman ji, etc., सब गुरु परंपरा, वो सब पूज्य है. पूजनीय. You can have them in the mandir, but in the center is your Ishta Devata. Yes. That is how bhakti and upasana develop in our heart. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, because I've had people say to me over the years, we just like to place all the different murtis at home and there's no one focus, it's only one, like Advait Vedanta would say. Of course it's one. There's no question that it's one. But for our vritti, our heart, our devotion to develop, it is good to focus on one. And it is good to give your heart eventually to only one Swarup. Then it's only Bhagwan to ek hi hai. It is about giving your heart to Paramatma. How can that happen? Because we only have one heart, we only have one mind. It can only be given to one Swarup. We love all the other forms of God are only one. Bhagwan to ek hi hai. Brahman is only one after all. But when we decide to give our heart to the one, it's like marriage, right? It's called Pati Vratani Nishta in Gujarati. Swaminarayan Satsang mein, people who are familiar with this is a big concept. It's there in the Vaishnava tradition in general. And Swaminarayan Sampradaya is it is a branch of the Vaishnava tradition. It's a very big idea, right? It's a big idea that there's only one heart. It's a kind of marriage. When you decide to get married to one person, that is a special relationship. It is called Pativrata. Pativrata means like a lady who is married to her husband. She is dedicated to her husband. The husband is dedicated to her. So this kind of bhakti towards one Swarup of Paramatma, what does that do? It establishes the communion. It establishes the strength of communion-based relationship. Sambandh solid ban jata hai. When two people get married, they get engaged first. They get to know each other first, maybe dating phase, engagement phase, and then marriage. And then hopefully no divorce. Think about it. Just like that. Dating phase, engagement phase, engagement ring, and then marriage. Just like that. Start in the dating phase. Get to know Krishna. Who is Krishna? Padho unke shastra. We cover what we can here in the morning time. Get to know. Develop Shraddha. Slowly. Don't be blind. People say, blind faith. Faith cannot be blind. You have to keep your mind and everything open. And Shraddha is not by blind faith. It is faith that opens your eyes, not blind faith. Shraddhavan labate gnanam. Where's this concept of blind faith? Where does that even come from? It's not written anywhere in any shastra. It's a totally wrong idea. Shraddha develops out of एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन, स्टडी, मनन चिंतन. इसमें से श्रद्धा आता है कि ये सत्य है, कि गीता जी के वचन सत्य है. हमारे अंतर में ऐसा हुआ है. वी हैव टू आस्क आवरसेल्फ. श्रद्धा भी से श्रद्धा है भगवान में. Yeah, we can say that, but is it really so? Have we gone through the 700 verses and say, Sachin can say that, yeah, 100% every single word is correct, that this is satya hi hai. Aisi, this kind of conviction in the words of the Gita. Do we have that? Have we even gone through the 700 verses? Then how can we say we have Shraddha in the Gita? Real Shraddha develops over time after we go through a process of manan, of this Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. सुनना गीता जी का वचन, संतों का निरूपण है, एक्सपोजिशन, वो सुनना. मनन चिंतन. नेक्स्ट फेज इज मननम. मनन चिंतन. मनन चिंतन क्या है? मनन मीन्स टू रिव्यू अगेन द कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड आइडियाज. चिंतन मीन्स टू कनेक्ट द कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड आइडियाज विथ अदर कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड आइडियाज. इंटरलॉकिंग प्रोसेस, इसको चिंतन कहते हैं. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is called Gnan Goshti. In Swaminarayan Sampradaya, this is a big thing. It's there in the Vaishnava Parampara also, that devotees come together and they contemplate on. It's called Goshti in Gujarati. It's a Vaishnava idea. It's worth doing. And although, we don't do it so much online, but maybe in the future sometime we'll be able to do that. When we do that, that is called Manan Chintan. Then comes Nididhyasana. Now the verses interconnect. And once Nididhyasana begins, the ideas interconnect at such a level from inside. Shraddha is born. Shraddha pragat hoti hai. Shraddha is not blind faith. Shraddha is not just doing some rituals and all that. That is not Shraddha. How can that be Shraddha? Shraddha is a tremendous realization from inside. Faith, it is a conviction. It is an intense latching on with anubhav that this is true. Ye satya hai, aisi nishta, aisi shraddha. Shraddha means it is faith. It is a conviction that it is true. It is called Swarup Nishta, Bhagvat Nishta. It is very rare. People say they have Shraddha. Shraddha nahi hoti. Shraddha is a whole different ball game. And when that actually develops, then that's a platform. It is a platform for starting one's proper 9 forms of bhakti at that point, after Shraddha develops. You may still do 9 forms of bhakti before Shraddha develops. And then the 9 forms of bhakti, Navada bhakti, are then performed after Shraddha develops, on both sides of Shraddha. Before, pre-Shraddha and after Shraddha. And then as the 9 forms develop, the communion, the relationship intensifies further. While performing all actions, one performs them in the presence, with the acknowledgement of the presence of Paramatma in all situations and all places. And from that, this 10th bhakti then eventually opens up by the krupa of Radhika ji. One who is a devotee, one becomes a bhakta. And then that Mahashakti, that is Shri Radha, she glances at the devotee and says, okay, you're ready. Unki krupa drishti hoti hai. And she is the giver of this 10th bhakti, of this prema bhakti, Prem-Lakshana bhakti. She gives that to the devotee. वो नहीं मिलता किसी को ऐसा. बहुत कुछ मिल सकता है. You might even know the scriptures very well. प्रेम भक्ति नहीं मिलती. किसको मिलती है? And if you do get a glimpse of it, one has to be very careful how it has to be protected. It's like getting $1 billion diamond. Somebody gives it to you and you said, oh my God, this is amazing. And then we are careless and we throw it away and use it as a paperweight, or foolishness comes about. No. If we get a glimpse even of Prema Bhakti, even a glimpse of Prema Bhakti takes us towards much, much greater realization. Do not let go of that. If somebody gives you or you somehow in your backyard, you dig up the backyard and you find $1 billion diamond and you know what it is and it's been tested, what will you do with that? Will you use it as a stone and just throw it away somewhere? You will keep it and hold on to it like with all your life and all your mind and energy and everything. Similarly, when bhakti actually opens up in our lives, it is the most foolish person who will let go of that. Why would anybody let go of that? Only our vasanas, our ego, our ahankar, this is the trash that will try to obstruct bhakti. Why would you let go of it? It is maha ananda. So the bhakta who has awakened intelligence, buddhi mein prakash aa gaya hai. The buddhi has become enlivened, will use the buddhi, the intelligence, to not let go of bhakti under any circumstances. And when we do not let go of bhakti under any circumstances, भगवान स्वयं हमारे पास आते हैं. वो अद्भुत बात है कुछ. Then it is a communion. It is a continual it's a continual oneness. भक्त और भगवान का संबंध सॉलिड बन जाता है. मुक्त और मुक्तेश्वर. मुक्तेश्वर मीनिंग जो मुक्तों के ईश्वर है, इसको मुक्तेश्वर कहते हैं. भगवान के जो मुक्त है, मुक्तों को जो भगवान, द लॉर्ड ऑफ द मुक्तस, इसको मुक्तेश्वर. મુક્ત અને મુક્તેશ્વરનું જ રમણ છે અક્ષરધામની અંદર. What is in અક્ષરધામ? It is this two are in communion only. Mukta and Paramatma. Mukta and Mukteshwar. What is in Golok Dham? वही बात है. गोलोक के मुक्त है by the grace of Radhika ji, और भगवान कृष्ण के साथ उनका निरंतर संबंध. Or also all of those liberated beings look just like Sri Krishna. You would not be able to tell the difference, although there is a difference. वो भगवान कृष्ण के जैसे ही दिखते हैं वो. Amazing stuff. Let's stop here for now. These are very, very tremendous things. Just wanted to have a little bit of just to review some of the key points before we go further into Haladini Shakti and more advanced ideas. These are basics. These are the fundamentals that are not to be forgotten. Right? So we'll continue on this further tomorrow. Let's do the closing mantra. Om Vameyasya Sita Radha Shirishayasya Asti Vakshasi Vrindavana Viharam Tam Sri Krishnam Hrudi Chintaye. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche. Sarva Mangala Mangalde Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanyatrambike Devi Narayani Namostate Lakshmi Narayana Namo Namah Namo Namah Nar Narayana Namo Namah Shivasudev Narayana Namo Namah Badri Narayana Namo Namah Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Hrim Svaha Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.